What's up, Sickle Cell Warriors? It's Dr.O, and the grind never stops. Alright, Sickle Cell Warriors, today we're talking about the topic of feeling fatigue and always feeling tired. Now, if you have sickle cell anemia, you're probably very well aware of the feeling of fatigue. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what we can do to fix that. So today I'm going to talk about 3 things in regards to fatigue and sickle cell. Why does fatigue occur in sickle cell anemia? I'm going to tell my story of how I always used to feel fatigue. And then lastly, I'm going to give us tips and solutions for how to deal with feeling fatigued. Why does fatigue occur in people with sickle cell? Well, the reason why we tend to have fatigue is because in our body, the red blood cells aren't as mature, and we don't have as much red blood cells as the typical person without sickle cell. Having red blood cells is important because red blood cells provides us with the oxygen necessary to have the energy for us to do activities that we would like to do. So the less red blood cells we have, the less oxygen we have. And unfortunately, the less oxygen we have, the less energy we would tend to have. Another reason why we may have fatigue is because of the smaller lung capacity in our body. But we may have smaller lungs due to past medical issues. So having pneumonia or having acute chest syndrome may decrease the size of our lungs, and hence, because we don't have as strong lungs, our lungs don't expand the way we need it to in order to do great activities at an intense level. Now, sickle cell warriors, I know how tough it is to be feeling fatigue. When sometimes you wake up and you don't have the energy to want to do anything, you don't feel productive. Man, I know exactly how you feel. And if you have athletic aspirations like I did when I was younger, man, it was the worst. When I was younger and I wanted to play basketball, man, all the time, man, I was always taking breaks every half an hour or so. And I always stayed hydrated. But even when I was drinking water, I constantly found myself always taking breaks. And it was annoying because when I played basketball, I'll be scoring like a lot. And then all of a sudden, I just have to take a break because I'm so tired. And then I would have to tell the people on the court, like, oh man, my asthma is acting up. Because back then, I didn't want to tell people that I had sickle cell. So I would just tell people I had asthma so they can better understand and just say, okay, and not really question why I'm getting off the court. And man, that was such an annoying feeling. I experienced that feeling throughout my high school year and throughout college. Pretty much whenever I was playing basketball, I always got that feeling, and I hated it. I hated it so much that I would do so much research to see how I can overcome this issue so I can just play basketball normally. I had no aspirations. I didn't want to make it to the NBA or anything fancy like that. All I wanted to do was just run back and forth on a normal basis with other people so I can compete on a higher level. But unfortunately with sickle cell, we may not be able to be granted with that opportunity. And so one thing that I did do was I would ask my doctor, hey, why am I so fatigued? And he said, like I mentioned before, it has to do with having a smaller lung. And I would even ask him, hey, can I, maybe try an inhaler? Maybe that could increase my lung capacity. And I would try that, and that didn't work. And I would try so many different other things, and unfortunately, I can't find a solution. But it is what it is. I've learned to come to peace with that. So yeah, sickle cell warriors, I used to be so tired that even during a long day of work or coming back from school, every time I got home, like I was so tired that before I even walked into the house, I would literally just sit down by like the stairs or like by the porch and the outside of my house because I was so tired. Like, that's just how tired I used to be on a consistent level, and it wasn't fun. And I think it's just important that I share this story with other people just to let you know that you're not alone. And I also have more stories here where we're gonna watch clips of other people talking about how they also deal with fatigue and how they also experienced it. So let's go watch this clip together.
My body will just not allow me to get out of the bed. Like, it's like to the point where it's like somebody just holding me down.
Even when I'm in pain, I'm still able to do stuff. But with fatigue, I'm like dead to the world. I'm just in bed. And then it's the unpredictability of it all. You never knowing when a crisis attack is going to happen. It screws up plans, it screws up dates, it screws up vacations, it screws up a lot of stuff.
Alright, sickle cell warriors, so as you can see, having fatigue is a very common symptom in people with sickle cell. But fortunately, there's a lot of things that we can do to combat that fatigue and increase the energy level in our bodies. Here are some things that we can do to combat that fatigue in us. So the first thing we can do is take medications. Now, there's 3 medications that I recommend for us in regards to dealing with fatigue. And the first one is hydroxyurea, and the second one is folic acid, and the third one is vitamin B complex. Now, I've already gone in depth about hydroxyurea, so I'm not gonna really speak too much about that. And I also plan on making future videos for folic acid and vitamin B complex. But I just wanted to let you all know that those are some medications that we can do to overall increase the amount of energy in our bodies. Another thing that we can do to increase our energy level is staying hydrated. You know, I also made a video about how important it is to drink water, and drinking water does so much for us, not just only in preventing us from having sickle cell crises, but it also gives us the energy to be more productive throughout our day. Now, lastly, my last advice to us sickle cell warriors is that no matter what we're doing, and no matter how much fun we may be having in whatever type of physical activity we are doing, we can't be afraid to take breaks. And I know it's embarrassing sometimes when you're either playing soccer or football or basketball, and then all of a sudden you just have to go away from your friends and just be like, I'm sorry, I don't have the energy to play. But I think it's important that we take away our ego and our pride, because sometimes our ego and our pride can get in the way and force us to go over and exert ourselves. And that stuff will make us end up being in the hospital for, you know, weeks or months. And we go through terrible pain. So if we can somehow remove our pride and our ego when wanting to continue, I think that will help us a lot and prevent a lot of future sickle cell episodes. So sickle cell warriors, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you all. I'm posting every Wednesday, so please stay tuned. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for blessing me.